Hello there. So sorry. Hello everyone. I know it is late than originally anticipated. Um, just a little short explanation on what occurred and why this is a bit later than originally anticipated is simply broken down to I was on a call with a couple of clients and it just sort of unfortunately went a bit longer than originally anticipated. Yeah, hold on, I'm just gonna make a post on Twitter. And I'm just I'm just trying to catch up. So, reason why I haven't been streaming for a bit is simply due to the fact that I am in the process of creating a variety of instant astrological services of sorts that I do intend to provide once they're fully ready. However, if you follow me on my variety of social medias and all that, you kind of see that a good portion of them is in the process of just, I guess you say, it's just in the process of like just being developed, really. While portions of these algorithms and things of that nature that I'm creating hold on. I'm sort of just copy pasting some couple of things. But these algorithms that I've been developing, I'm putting them through extensive amounts of tests. More in particular, what they are being created by is a database that I have of over 110,000 charts. And I've just been organizing these things into sort of just a basic like algorithm of sorts where I just plug in any random chart and it just tells me all the predictions, or let's say I want to know what's going to go on for this individual, or they're requesting a service for 2 months in advance of, let's say, love. Well, I'll plug in their chart and then they'll just have all these charts pop up. Okay. So sorry about this little delay. Again, it's just, like I said, This was unfortunately kind of skipped over. Couldn't post on Twitter. Anyways, okay, where was I? Here it is. Bigfoot. Let's see. It appears to be launching. Hopefully it is. Yeah. See, I have a lot of games. But, yeah, controllers not supported. Anyway, so later on today, we'll be going into this software and be showing you also Magi quads, which a simple explanation of what those are. It's a midpoint created by midpoints. So one of the purposes or why that is, it's a heavily concentrated point of like symmetry, and when two midpoints actually interact with the Magi quad point, which is created from those two particular midpoints, it heavily amplifies the symmetrical pattern from these, like the four celestial bodies that create them, because they are perfectly symmetrical in terms of distance to one another, instead of creating a general typical pattern that you'll see in an average chart. So, not that, it also shows like deep synchronizations in a different format as well. Typically, it's done in geocentric, but I have seen it and even used it in also heliocentric perspectives as well. But yeah, though I was debating whether or not to show you the the Magi quads, or even the showing a pretty much like the geocentric diagonals points, or at least give you a glimpse of what that looks like. So with diagonals, this is a technique that it is a real thing, but it's very rare in terms of finding it, and also all sources with diagonals, it's like 2-3 sentences, and that is it. You just hear 2-3 sentences of this technique and how it's typically done, or in theory, but you don't get to see how it's done. So I've been heavily experimenting with diagonals because I know it exists. I know the general concepts and theories and so forth of it from these little 2-3 sentences and so forth. But it's not anything that's fully, you know, there is no like dedicated chapters or books just on that particular thing. It's a very rare technique, and also it's very secretive in its own matters. Okay, seems like it finally changed. Yay! But let's see. I hope it follows through. Because it's not gonna like in some games where they sort of just crashed on me out of nowhere. So a little traumatized if this was to that to me out of nowhere. Let's see. Another game. Man, it's been a while since I played this. A long time. Let's see. Create lobby. There it is. Let's see. Let's go Yellowstone. Winter. Redwood. Why not? Let's see. Hmm. Okay. Get to it. Yeah. Yuki has no. Out of curiosity, can you hear me? Can you just say hey, hello, or something? I just want to make sure. Oh, okay. Like, tragedy struck at Redfield. Bodies of 4 people were found: a middle-aged woman, 3 college students, mostly lagged by some creature. Incident has been ruled by as an accident, but evidence has been collected that may lead to a new exploitation of what happened. It's time for a new investigation to take place. Okay. 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 Mm. Okay. Okay, there's literally nothing so far. Okay. Yeah, it is just me right now. I'm just trying to carry as much as I can. Yeah. Oh, come on. Okay, let's see. Okay. Yeah, right now I'm just trying to get everything as I can that's in the area before I just start roaming around. Although I have played this before and I lasted probably like 20-ish minutes or so. Okay. Let's go. Let's see. Very easy. Hmm. Okay. Where are you? I'm just waiting for him. Let's see. Hmm. Let's see. I know with this game, like, it's a lot more fun when it comes to like playing with friends and all. But honestly, it's more of, with my situation, it's more like I don't have friends to play with because we're all interested in different games and so forth. So, as a result, like as a result, I just have okay. Let's see here. Oh, it's starting to become day. Let's see. Okay, come on. Yeah, just. I know it's probably around like the second or so night. That's when Bigfoot typically shows. But this is gonna have to be. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Hmm? Is that a dog? Moose? Where are you? Oh. Watchtower. Okay. Okay, I do not have the pin for that. Let's see. I know usually the pins for each safe is like nearby, so. No. Yeah. Where's that sound coming from? Oh, great. Yeah, this game is like very glitchy. Or lagging, really. Let's see. Oh god, it's following me. Okay. Honestly, I'm just hearing this loud sound. I don't know what it is. All I know is Bigfoot is coming. Just to give you some extra time. I know this thing is gonna go off. The only reason why I'm staying behind here is so it can at least give me some time to actually get some kind of shots. Also, worst case scenario, if I need to like fully run away, there's that zip line. Okay. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Hands not even moving. Hmm. Come on. I know you're coming out. We're in the area. Just go up the stairs. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. You know you want to come over here. Come on. Otter moose. You know, and pigs. Honestly, where does the dog come from? I didn't see any dog. Well, well, it's daytime, I guess. I'll just look for the dog. Let's see what other areas. Okay, seriously, where's this dog? Let's see. Okay, well. Come on. Hmm. So I guess this is not gonna happen. Well, there's one of the skulls. Let's see. Come on. Okay. Oh shit! Jesus Christ. Hmm. I don't trust the trees anymore. I I just don't. Come on. Here it goes. He's not even remotely close, most likely. Watching he's like right there. Same strategy as last time. Let's see. Let's just see if he comes by. Or it's going to be like last time. Come on, just pop up. He's nearby. That's for sure. Let's just see. Will he even pop up? Let's see. Sorry, just hold on. Let's just. Come on. Show your face. to show your face. Come on, just show it. Show. Come on, you know you want to. Honestly, stop being stubborn. Come on. Again, he is nearby. He is setting up traps all over the place. At least I'm assuming that's his thing. Although, if I do recall, according to some of the Bigfoot's lore, apparently Bigfoot or Sasquatch communes with those banging noises. They just apparently convey towards one another or something like that. Is that a bear I'm hearing? Come on. Honestly, I'm not too sure about you, but I kind of like the little sounds of, like, you hear, like, the rain trickling a bit, or something like that from outside. Plus the nice crackling of the fire is pretty nice. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. Hmm? Hmm. Yeah, just about. He. Okay, well, the gun didn't shut it up, so... Hmm. Okay. I'm just looking above just to ensure that there's no traps above. Ah! Oh god, there's another. Okay. Um, oh no! Yeah. Okay. Come on. Come on, just show up. Can you just do that? Um, oh. Well, I know for a fact I checked here, but... Oh. Anything else I missed? Let's see. Where are you? Just come on. Hmm. Honestly, if this is probably going to be the game for the... Hmm. Hmm. I know with the totems, you can probably like resurrect people, but honestly, the thing I'm kind of rather confused on is when it's by yourself, are they even remotely helpful to like just obtain? Or not really? Come on. Okay. Cleared. Let's see. Okay. Okay, that was accidental. Aw. Come on. Yeah. Honestly, at this point, if it goes through this night as well, I'll just like Bigfoot's not responding whatsoever. Then yeah, I'm probably just gonna call it quits here, and we just get straight to the astrology portion because I know this game is time consuming. I know that for a fact, and I know Bigfoot doesn't always respond like 24/7 nonstop, but if this is how the round is, I think it's fair for now. Besides, apparently I can't. I have enough stuff where I can't really take anything. All these various things, so it's whatever. You know. But like I said, we'll see if this is the time in which he's just no longer. Yeah, we have a couple hours, so this is going to be a while. Let's see. I guess we can probably just go over somewhat the concepts that we'll be going over a bit. So, with Magi quads, as we're waiting for Bigfoot, um, it the concept originated from this book. So, the Magi Society formulas, which include secrets of Magi astrology, and the authors of astrology. Yeah, so this is one of the couple of books that I have from the Magi Society. They only written 3 books, but let me see if I could find a simple explanation of what it is, just so you get all the technical terms out of it. Let's see. Yeah, so Magi quads, which you can abbreviate them as MQs, it's a form whenever 4 planets are aligned in a symmetrical pattern that results in 2 of the sides being parallel to each other. After a vast amount of research into Magi quads, let's see. Yeah, so it is found that not only Magi quads have a significant effect on the native, which is the person who is born with the chart, but the Magi quads are the single most important astrological influence determining what type of capabilities and talents the native has. A thorough understanding of Magi quads will allow astrologers to determine a profession and manner in which a person is most able and likely to achieve the greatest success. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll get into it a bit more in detail, but yeah, so let me just quickly scan through this. Yeah, so when the 4 planets are aligned and form a Magi quad, all 4 planets exert an influence on each other, and the influence is almost always positive. The influence is such that all 4 planets enhance each other. When 4 planets are aligned together in the form of a Magi quad, the 4 planets provide a native with special gifts, talents, and aptitudes that can predict thorough integrations and combinations of the symbolism of the 4 planets. Yeah, so that's sort of like this the general basic. Hey, hope you're doing well. Oh, hi. Hope you're doing well as well. I just followed you on Twitter. Would love to follow you. Oh, okay. Yeah. So right now we're just sort of just waiting for Bigfoot, honestly, in the moment. But yeah, immediately after that, we're just going to be going on with explaining what Magi quads are, which is a astrological technique. So if you want to stick around for that, you can. Yeah, just giving you a heads up. It is a bit of a complex thing, but I will show you a very simplified version of what they are and how to use and take advantage of it. So, not just some of the things of what to expect for this stream. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. At this point, save. Yes. Yeah, the game is kind of a bit laggy too. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Should take a minute for this software to pulling up. But once it's done, it's going to be very easy just to show you exactly what it is that I'll talk about when it comes to Magi quads. Yeah, so this is a typical astrological chart. We're going to be looking at Magi quads. So simple explanation of what Magi quads are and how they're calculated. It is a midpoint created by midpoints. Yeah, and you just pull up all those celestial bodies I typically use, regardless of situations, and well, actually I don't think we can. Yeah, because let's just show you the basics with. Okay, so we have Jupiter, Chiron, Neptune, Pluto, Saturn. Let's see. Uranus, Venus, Chiron, Neptune, Pluto, Saturn, Uranus, Venus. So let me just pull up this. Okay, got that. go all the way down to Venus. Let's go to Mars. Actually, since I'm here. Pluto. Okay, so Mars, Pluto. Saturn. Saturn, Mercury, Sun. Saturn, Venus. Saturn, Mars. Jupiter, Uranus. Neptune. Pluto. Uranus, Neptune. Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, midpoint, Saturn, Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, Saturn, Pluto. Okay, got those. Let's see. Excuse me. Let's put Isis, Odin, Midas. Xenon. I don't know. And I don't set now. Okay. So this will just take a minute in terms of everything loading up.
But once it's loaded, we can properly take everything into consideration. It's going to take a while in terms of it loading up and pulling everything properly, but nothing too long. It's about like a second two per celestial body, so not that long. In this case, these are midpoints, so but they're treated as planets to a degree. Once that's pulled, let's see. Pieces, okay, so almost done. It's going to be just a little bit a while. So once these points are displayed, they will be popping up alongside the circle plus over here. For those of you that are unaware, what this is, this shows the vertical coordinates based on whatever it is we are looking at. So this will be the declinations for geocentric or the heliocentric latitudes if we're looking at heliocentric. So those are just the basic reasons how it's set up. When planets show up here, it is because they're going from north to south and south to north. They'll be appearing up over here. When it's inside the, it's gone over here. What this signifies, it's reached the limit or it's at the borderline. If it's outside, it is in what's considered as extreme declination or extreme latitudes. Now with declinations, because that's more the proper term in association, is these planets are essentially supercharged or a little overcharged, so any and all alignments, especially in this dimension. So for example, we see that over here we have Pluto over here, and it's in extreme declination. So if someone was to be born on such a date where Pluto is in extreme declination, we should see a excessive like expansion, like a very super powerful Pluto-like scenario where they may fall into a career or a path that's ruled by Pluto, and it's very much like into the extreme. Or over here, let's see, Midas is also in the extreme declination right here. So again, if someone was to be born on this date, it would signify like they have this strong ability to do anything in relations to Midas areas. Now if they make an alignment to each other, then we can kind of see, get a better idea just to what extreme or what that will look like. Also, Ixion is in extreme declinations as well. Anyways, let's pull up a random person's chart, and we'll just show. I will show you. Let's look at Aiden Ross, just cause he's the first one on the list. Why not? So let me just pull up aspects, midpoints. Now it's going to take a bit of a while, but it should be popping up. There it is. Now, I'm not too sure if you're able to read this, but as we scroll down, you'll notice this is creating every single possible midpoint and showing you their exact coordinates, whether from geocentric longitudes, geocentric declinations, heliocentric longitudes, and heliocentric latitudes. If it is in one particular dimension, so like right here, the sun, it's only going to appear in geocentric. But if we just look up, where's the Earth? Yeah, so like all the Earth midpoints,
even Earth creating midpoints with midpoints. All these points will be popping up in heliocentric. But as you can see here, as soon as we start scrolling down further, we have a midpoint creating in with the midpoint over here, and we see their coordinates. Now, a quick visual way of how we can find a Magi quad, because this is what we're going to be talking about for a bit, is when two midpoints create a conjunction to one another, which is usually the strong indicators of a Magi quad. So there's a couple examples right here. So for example, with Aiden Ross, we have Saturn Neptune in conjunction with the Uranus Sedna midpoint. This is considered very significant, maybe because with Saturn Sedna, hold on, let me pull out my notes real quick, because honestly, there's like, as you can tell, there's like hundreds upon hundreds, so I may be confusing myself at some point. Okay. But yeah, so like he has Saturn and Neptune interacting over here. And honestly, let me just move this over here. Just so I can show you. Now, usually they're considered significant just by themselves. However, if they do interact with other celestial bodies, like Midas over here, you can view it as like they have extra little bonus points here and there. Or in this case, it's also interacting with another one. Interesting enough. So the Venus-Pluto but this one's made of 3, my bad. So technically it's not. So a Magi quad, if you haven't caught on, is an alignment made by 4 different planets and their midpoints from that combination of the 4. So for example, let's say Jupiter, Pluto, and the Jupiter-Pluto midpoint created a Magi quad with, let's say, Uranus, Neptune. Well, that is considered a Magi quad because it is 4 different planets. But with like the Venus-Pluto midpoint, which is over here, with the Venus-Chiron, well, Venus pops up twice, so that means it's only the influence of 3 planets. Yes, it holds some additional weight, but it's not as powerful compared to like a Magi quad, which is 4 planets involved in the pattern. So that's sort of like the general concept of how this kind of functions. But let me just see.
if there's any other Jupiter, Venus. Yeah, no, that's not gonna do. I'll take off Midas for now. Just so you can kind of see how these things look like. So, not always, but as you could probably see here, regardless of the fact that of what these celestial bodies are at, yeah, Saturn, Neptune, which is at 1.9 degrees. This is like 1.8, 1.0, so 1.9 will be just like right here, dead center. Where's the Magi quad is at. Now, also, the thing is, the more closer these two midpoints that create the Magi quad are to the Magi quad point, the more symmetrical, that means the more symmetrical they are, the more powerful they are. But also, as you can see here, like sometimes they are these four symmetrical points, they are parallel to each other regardless. Like this is parallel in such a way where coincidentally they also make an aspect towards one another because they're exactly 90 degrees apart. While these, they don't make a significant aspect at all. But their two midpoints are in conjunction to each other, and to also add in additional input, they're both about 0.1 degrees apart from each other from being a true Magi quad point. So this is quite significant. So it kind of elevate, or, significantly lift the positive and negative influences of these points. Now, why I say negative is because Saturn and Senna, these are two definitely negative points within Aidan Ross's chart. However, both Neptune and Uranus is overall positive in comparison. Are they super positive? Not quite, but in this context, you will see sort of an interesting duality of both positive and negative playing out in this particular pattern. Now, since Saturn and Pluto, the Saturn-Neptune midpoint is one of the key factors based on my notes. So Saturn-Neptune, it's like Saturn-Uranus midpoint in terms of this pairing represents unhappiness. Will prevailing more, so it represents unhappiness where prevailing more accepted beliefs on the status quo. But here there is a desire to change the public views and ideas. With the siren wishes to instill a particular set of their values and doctrines, but always with the willingness to bring about change in a non-violent fashion. Ability to innovate the arts and create new art forms. So there's just some of the components of what that is for the Saturn Neptune point. With Uranus Senna, it's sort of the individual, in this case Adam Ross,
Like he is pretty much like in relations to change, or in this case, Uranus also is online influence or structure. Senna, in this case, will also be contributing to components of ambitions and success, determination. So, like, we could kind of get an idea that, like, he probably may be somewhat unhappy to various degrees, but also, like, he's willing to make some very significant changes to the world through online entertainment, and whatever his ambitions they are, he'll do or try to follow through to the max of what that is, to however he sees fit. So you kind of get an idea too, like this is sort of a bit more helpful tool. But if we were to add in Midas, because as you've seen in the pattern a bit, Midas does interact with the point, just quite a bit. But just a little FYI, if a planet or some other point also coincidentally does fall in between here, that's some extra quote bonus points or importance, because well, this point or the planet kind of has some type of like interests in which you could probably like, oh, there's some immense influence with these planets focusing on this particular planet that sit between here, if said planet were to exist. But this is just one of many potential points, as you can see here. But since Midas is still interacting with it, but it's not the focal point per se, it's still of least great interest just to see how it can contribute inadvertently to the pattern, which is the Magi quad is interacting with Midas as well, so this can also indicate that, like, you know, Aid or loss, he is more likely to make money through like changing the public's perspectives or creating some type of new art form or creating some type of new form of entertainment in a creative like manner. And his ambitions and goals, which is in relations to dealing with the public and also to deal with in terms of success in online entertainment or dealing with the politics, for example, because he has some associations with various politicians from time to time. But either way, like he can make money off of this in some form of way, or quote have the golden touch, where just add in some additional influences here and there. And also with Saturn over here, it kind of also just amplifies some additional key points of like Saturn's influence. Which, let me just pull this up. It is a simple explanation of what Saturn's keywords are. I mean, I could pull it up right here too, but I kind of like my little notes because it's diverse enough where like I could get the general gist and give you all the little details. Anyways, but it's sort of like he can make money from like disciplines and having control or being in control. He can essentially have like a bulldozer mentality, and hence this bulldozer mentality to quote want to make changes or be creative and have his own way with that creativity, his ability to help him make money, and also this determination. It's very much like a very dominating like structure or feel in which how he creates this sort of like interest towards being a content creator, or how he uses his influence in that way. So with Saturn, it also deeply amplifies one's unhappiness too. So it also could suggest that, like, despite ability to make excessive amount of money through like this way, like the unhappiness, especially like with the current status quo, or in terms of whatever that is, in his viewing, could cause immense unhappiness. So, like, even if he makes all this money or is excessively rich, it can also inadvertently lead to like unhappiness, despite whether on the surface level or from the public view, like he quote has it all. Just because he has it all doesn't mean that he's going to be happy. But that's just something that definitely needs to be kept an eye on from time to time, because depression could hit him at any time, and he will just not be happy. Period. And may have some type of self doubts or self hatred. It can manifest in so many different ways. But yeah, so yeah, this is just like one example in terms of the longitude, though. Like with or without Midas, you can just see the pattern, how it's very clear, and just how it just sort of just makes itself known. Yeah, but this is just a rather unique like technique and how to like identify and pinpoint various you know points. Technically speaking, like through various technicalities, like they exist anywhere, and everyone can have them all over, but they're more powerful, especially when they're making a conjunction. Because, like, again, it's more of the concept like it's based on symmetry then and simple rules of like from basic studies and findings. The more exact a alignment is, the more powerful it is. The more less aligned it is, the less influence it has. In this case, this is like one of the closest to being very powerfully exact in terms of the chart. So at this point, like this synchronization of these two midpoints with, seeing the parallels form between these two planets is much more noticeable. So let's pull up a different component within his chart, if I can find one. Yeah, this is going to take a while, but like I said, this is kind of like advanced astrological observational techniques, but it's very straightforward once you see some visual components of how it looks. Yeah, like Saturn Pluto and Saturn's Chiron, this is not a Magi quad because it's three different influences, which is again Saturn pops up twice, Pluto, and Chiron. That's it. So it's not a quad. Let's see. Well, these points wouldn't be a quad period because 3 planets will be popping up. Well, 2 planets will be popping up quite frequently, really. Plus, they're not in conjunction towards one another. This one would technically count, but again, this is 3 planets, just Venus pops up twice. So, same issue, minus, and yeah, so that seems to be it. Oh, there's also this, which is right here. So this is the Saturn, Uranus, and Jupiter, Neptune midpoint. But let me just double check just so we can see how precise this is. Saturn, Uranus. Let's see. Jupiter, Neptune, which is at 8 degrees precise. Yeah, so this one's a bit more wider in comparison.
because 0.6 and let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so like this is literally 6 degrees away, well, 0.6 away, and this is also 0.6 away. Well, this is 0.1. So this will have the second most influential point in comparison, but still just as good. So let's see. I'm just going to be taking off all these points again, just so you can see how this will look. So Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, so Saturn, Neptune, nope, Saturn, Uranus. Is it? There you are. And Jupiter, Neptune. Okay. But yeah, so I can see here these 4 planets, they do not make any type of alignment here, except for Jupiter interacting with the midpoint created by Saturn and Uranus. But as you can see here, this is a parallel right here. This is yet another parallel a little further out. Now, obviously, you visually cannot tell until you see the midpoints interact right here. And this is 0.6 degrees apart, while the other one that I showed was 0.1 degrees. So this is much more further apart, so it's second most influential. But these are 2 midpoints that actually do have some significant influences nonetheless. So what we can find is, let me pull up the midpoints once again. So Saturn and Uranus. Okay, so with Saturn and Uranus, this essentially means that he is charismatic, almost to the point where it's almost hypnotic. Commanding and able to move large audiences, even entire nations. If this pairing is quadrantized with a Jupiter pairing, which it does, the person has a maximum ability to influence and control audiences, the public, countries, and the world. Unconventional, daring to be difficult, or different, my bad, like, Jesus, different, attracted to counterculture, very independent with a intense dislike of authority, seeking change for the sake of change as opposed to any particular idea, even though doctrines will be professed, desire to dominate and control the populace or segments of it with ability to do so through charisma, intensely egotistical. This is a single most potent pairing with provided someone with the ability to move the public and change the world. So, with also interacting with Jupiter Neptune midpoint, What this would suggest is super talented in the artistic way, success through artistry, highly inspired and original because Neptune rules inspiration, originality, or remarkability, enduring, long-term lasting because Neptune rules whatever is long-lasting, very blessed or talented in areas ruled by Neptune, including health, medicine, natural resources, inheritance, patents and copyrights, talents of all types, including acting skills, poetry, singing, musical ability, successful and enduring, ingenuous ideas because Neptune rules both ideas and inspiration, as well as whatever is long lasting. So, as you guys can see here, like just like he is a very creative individual. He is very much like super talented and artistic, but also at the exact same time he can be very charismatic, or he may use this to like go for the counterculture and use his creativity and artistic abilities for that from time to time, and have a very strong sense of like egotistical yet he's talented yet he knows it too, or it kind of gets to his head from time to time, or whether or not he intentionally wants to or displays it, it will show to various degrees. But you kind of get an idea already, just like how this will influence him to various degrees. Also, a unique thing is when Saturn midpoints are in the birth chart, which is analysis here right here. Excuse me. It also shows area where he has the most control. But if this point was a transit, for example, or compatibility, it shows where he's unlikely to not have control. So that's the unique thing about with Saturn midpoints in general. Anyways, but that's just how you could find them in the longitudes. With declinations, it's a little different story. Now, do note, just because these planets are here and these alignments are present, doesn't guarantee that he is fully any one of these at all. But it does suggest that he does fall under the probabilities of most likely falling into those various categories. Like, at the end of the day, this is very much a real world type scenario, but if the points is just because like these points are here and they suggest or have all these probable outcomes, it's still his choice in terms of like what he chooses to manifest and live out as his one true desires. But if he chooses not to do anything about it, or he chooses like carefully in terms of like what to do, what not to do, because he has various goals in mind, or he wants to be better, or whatever the case may be, this will be a great guidance in terms of like giving him an idea like, oh hey, I should avoid doing X, Y, and Z. So this is just some of the many probable outcomes that can occur. And as you can see, like it's a lot of different random combinations and ways that he can creatively speaking, choose what's most right fit for himself. These are just some of the points though. Yeah. Yeah. No. Okay. Let me pull this up again. Yeah. Well, I guess I'll just show you those real quick.
Yeah, so this is my birth chart, but let me see if I could pull up someone else's just to. Uh, let's pull them up. Okay, so what I've been working on the side is this particular little cycle. I think it might be worth a while to show. So it's in the early stages, so it does not have every single alignment, but thought it would be cool to show you. In the moment, the algorithm that I created using the Magi software, which is what you just seen earlier, I was able to convert the algorithms and scoring systems that we use just a bit, just so I could see on each given day how powerful or not powerful a particular day is for a particular event for someone. So, for example, let's say you want to know what's the best time for you to make money or, quote, accept a job. Well, for example, for AJ over here, one of the most powerful days within the month itself is October 30th, which is right here. This is the most powerful day. So if they were to do something, they could, quote, lock that power in by, let's say, starting a business on this date. Second day, where it's a little bit more better, but not ideal, would be the third, fourth, 5th of October. But it's not that strong. But you can see here when they do have lower alignments, like over here is like negative 50, just below negative 50, so it's like negative 51 or so. Like this is a very not ideal day for them personally. But this is just a little thing that I've been working on. I do intend to have more additional algorithms, so this right now is just the, as you can see here, is money-making transits. I will have another transit. Once I'm done with this one, I'll have recognition, love, and sex. What I also do have at 10 is also additional side algorithms or subcategories of what I used into creating these. So these will be like Cinderella, these will be golden, silver, nuclear transits, heartbreak slash high risk transits, um, good health, bad health, good sex, bad sex, fertility, romance, and just goes on in terms of like the many different cycles I can calculate and have here so I can provide you instant astrological services. But like I said, this is just an early version of it, and right now I'm having some tech difficulties with it in terms of some alignments that I have. They appear in both geocentric and heliocentric, which I'm able to do it in geocentric, but I'm not able to include the exact same alignments in heliocentric for some reason. And I reached out already to like the team and software, so they're getting that fixed right now in this moment. But like it is very strange. So I won't hear back from them till probably sometime this week, I hope. If not next week or so. Just anyways. But they said they'll keep me posted and updated, so I'm not too worried about that. But sadly, as a result, because I have that weird error, this is kind of on the back burner for time being. sadly. But it's whatever. As long as I have like these alignments fully completed by the end of the year, I really don't care. Now that I can also provide you guys, all of you, like instant astrological services, or instant-ish. I'd say that because like I'm trying to figure out how to, I guess to say like, build a simple yet effective method where you can email me or something like that. I'm like, oh, I want this, this, and that. Here's like the credentials, here's the payment, and so forth. And I will just read that, process the chart, generate it for you, and send you the final details, along with some like basic astrological advice and also how to read the chart and so forth. But first things first, I want this to be built and done before I even bother offering that, officially speaking. But that's just the basics. Yeah. Oh yeah. But like I said, that's just the basics of what I'm doing over here. Yeah, I have Kaisanat in here. I'm just trying to figure out what I did with his chart. Now can I find him? Yeah, here he is. Yeah, so I had to create his chart because it's not in this software at all. So what you see here is it connected his IMDb and also famous birthdays because I use these databases. And also I created a list of categories that he by default does fall under, according to like a variety of sources that I use for my research. So just a little side note if you're wondering. Like, yes, he's a streamer, according to one thing, he's also a content creator, but also he does fall under Titan category for like according to Times 100, to Times Magazine, and musical artists and all according to like IMDb and so forth. So yeah, that's just some of the things. Yeah, but I could just show you like what his personal transits will look like real quick. And again, like I said, like this is not complete in the slightest, so once I'm done with it, what you see here, it's going to be significantly different in like so many levels. Did it wrong? Okay. But yeah, like we can already kind of see like the month of October, it's going to go down big time for him in terms of like his ability to make content and so forth or make money from it. And see, this is the zero line, so like for the first few weeks, it wouldn't be till like the 13th where he starts seeing, excuse me, based on the current version of the algorithm so far, like it does seem like as soon as it gets into October, it wouldn't be till like the 13th where he starts to see some type of improvements of like getting money and all. But let's see, like 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. Then 21st, it's okay. It's not that bad. It's not good either. But 22nd, not the greatest. It's like back to the worst. The 23rd, it's pretty good. 24th, pretty good. Then all the way to 25th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. And that's pretty much it. But once it gets back to the 30th of October,
he starts seeing the quote like he'll start seeing the positive components of like potential views or brand deals and all that. Like that would be a relatively good one. But definitely like overall like it's not that greatest. So like when based on this algorithm in the moment, like sure he'll have like some good highs here and there, but it's not as great that it could have been. But when he does have any massive lows or failures throughout the month of October, it is definitely going to hit him hard. So he needs to be cautious in terms of what he does, at least for the very first 12 days of October. But after that, it's a bit more easier. Not ideal, but it's manageable. But those are just some of the things that like we should expect him. At least like I said, based on this incomplete algorithm that I have in a moment. And honestly, I'm just gonna be honest here. Like I have barely two transiting planets taken into consideration. Like they interact with like the natal planets of all these things, but the thing is, it's just the sun and partial bits of Mercury. So it's not all the planets that I look into consideration, and not all the dimensions yet for every single planet yet. But once I get that tech issue resolved, I'm getting back onto like adding this on. So like what we see here can and will be significantly different. In what way, I do not know. I cannot guarantee. But it will be different nonetheless. Let's hide that, return menus, close that out. Well, I think we'll do one more chart of someone else. Unfortunately, because as you can see here, it's a bit not necessarily like super time consuming, but it is a lot in terms of what I gotta do and analyze on the spot. But let's just do like I'm going to bullet points after, but let's just choose. Let's choose. Yeah, let's go with him. So Esteban Ronaldo. I'm not too sure if I'm saying that right, but he is part of phase, from my understanding. But let's pull up all these points. Let's pull up Exion, Senna, Verona, Nisus, minus Odin. So Jupiter, Chiron, Mars, Mercury, Neptune, Pluto, Sun, Mars, Venus, Neptune, Pluto, Sun, Mars, Venus, Neptune, Pluto, Zena, Uranus, Pluto, Pluto, Zena. Yeah. And if you're a little curious why these midpoints have like two dashes right here, it's supposed to be like two negatives. So to like amplify like the negativity, like this is very negative point. But with these other points where you see two pluses, this is like positive energy. So like this is very positive overall. And if you see over here, there's both a plus a negative. So what that symbolizes or suggests that it's a neutral point, or it's a point that can go either way. So just a little FYI on why you see that. Also, if you notice over here, these midpoints have a 3-letter code. So like obviously it's from like A to Z, but like all these additional 2 letters is sort of like based off of the planets that's involved. So UA, Urania, or UB, so that's UB313, which is Eris, and so forth. So if you're a little curious on what that is, that's what it is. So like UB, whenever you see like a random letter followed by UB, it's whatever that midpoint is with UB313 included. So that's just some additional FYIs on how this software is set up. So let's see. Pluto, Senna, Chiron, Pluto, Neptune. Yeah, so let's see. Saturn, Odin, and we'll bring back Useless. That should be good enough. So we pull these points back up, take out the moon. And the reason why we're taking out the moon is actually broken down to the fact that we do not have a time of birth available. So why that is problematic and why we take out the moon in this case is because within a given day, the moon moves about 13 degrees and we use orbs of 3 degrees. And one, how this software setup is there's not much room for like negotiation in terms of like making a minor adjustments of 13 degrees for just the moon. And also two, like one are we are using planetary geometry, which again, like I've mentioned before, um, it is based on the construct or concept of this software. I do not know why it's doing that. I'm just going to see if it starts working again at some point. But the reason is simple because because we use like tidal orbs and all that, it's like the research shows that like tidal orbs are most effective and most accurate. So that's another reason why we cannot really negotiate a larger orb for the moon. And because of this unfortunate situation of like we do not know what time of day he was born, we cannot use the moon because there's so much room for errors. Okay. But that's just like some of the issues and reasons like why I take out the moon for him. The only occasion why I would leave the moon in will be if we're looking at the declinations. And the reason being because in terms of declinations, the moon's position is like 1 to 2 degrees. Roughly 1 degrees really per day, but we use orbs for 1.2 degrees, so like that's not much of an issue. So like with or without the time, like it's going to be accurate, at least in terms of declinations. But with the longitudes, it's moving too fast where we cannot really track it properly. So any and all possible alignments that can exist with the moon, we cannot say for sure if they even remotely exist. But anyways, let's just look. So there is one right here. But I'm just trying to see if there's an even more interesting one. So potentially right here, Venus, Neptune, Pluto. Neptune, Pluto. No, but there is one right here. No, never mind. Yeah, so this is pretty much non-existent then. This is not really a thing over here either. Not a thing, not a thing. Yeah, so in terms of the geocentric over here, like this is like the best clump. Right here, we have Uranus, Sedna, and the Saturn, Mercury midpoint. Let's look at the heliocentric just because. Oh, we have quite a couple, or one more for sure. Yeah, which is the Saturn, Mars, and the Jupiter, Venus. We also have Mars, Pluto, and Venus, Neptune. Over here, we have the Jupiter, Neptune, Venus, Chiron. So he has quite a bit. The Uranus, Pluto, and Chiron, Neptune, yet another one. Very powerful. Yeah, so if we were to like be analyzing all of these at once, obviously we need to identify which ones is the most exact, then follow after on that. But as you get to see here, like, sorry, just I'm not really used to hats in general, so this is new. But as we could probably see here, let me just look real closely which one is. So there's this one and this one. Well, this was the most exact comparison. Trying to see. Yeah, so we're going to be focusing on this one, and this will be also the last. So as we can see here, this is 0.1 and this is 0.2. If we were to look at the exact of the degrees, 0.1, 0.1, but this is 0.667, this is 0.3333. But like you see, like it's so close to one another. And if we were to look at the exact degrees, the orb is literally 0.02 degrees from being exact. So this is very powerful. So let's just filter this through. First things first, let's take out all these midpoints just to make our lives easier with identifying. So let's just do this. So Chiron, Pluto. Now so Chiron, take out Pluto, leave in Neptune, Venus, Jupiter, Venus. So Jupiter, Neptune, which is right here, and Venus, Chiron. Which is right here. Yeah, so normally when these points create a major quad, as you've probably seen in the examples, they don't from time to time create an alignment with one another. However, as you see here, these are almost in perfect synchronization to one another in almost every single possible way. So this point is definitely a very powerful point within his chart. But so individually, these planets are also adding in their own minor twists, while the combined outcomes, which is right here, is very noteworthy and very useful and powerful. At the exact same time, like it's also getting additional, I guess you say, like push forwards with the components of the planets that formed them to also begin with. So this is very powerful alignment as well. So let's just filter on out what this is. So let's focus on Jupiter, Venus, Chiron midpoint. So with Venus, Chiron, it is of love and romance. It is beauty, like a beautiful marriage, the dream, combined destinies, uniting our futures, becoming one family. Money is our partnerships, joining forces, lifelong relationships, charismatic relationships, our marriages, great help for the union, a higher chance for marriage, enduring bonds, charismatic beauty, love of the new age, love of the idea of marriage and building a family. We also see making money from entertainment industry. So like in this case, like it is very much like he's going to be making a lot of money in the entertainment industry, especially if he's collaborating with others. That's what this strongly suggests. Now with Jupiter Neptune included into the mix, as mentioned earlier with Jupiter Neptune itself, super talented in artistic ways, success through artistry, high inspired and original, because Neptune rules like inspiration and originality, remarkability, endurance of long lasting, because whatever is long lasting, because Neptune rules whatever is long lasting. There is very blessed or talented in areas ruled by Neptune, including health, medicine, natural resources, inheritances, patents and copyrights, talents of all types, including acting skills, poetry, singing, music abilities, successful and enduring indigenous ideas, because Neptune rules both ideas and inspiration, as well as whatever is long lasting. So, like with right here, like we go to get an idea, like he is very likely to make money in the entertainment industry because of like long lasting creativity or skills and abilities to be an actor, even. What we can also see here that this also strongly suggests that like both Neptune and Jupiter here, this is creating a Cinderella point, and also this is also yet another Cinderella point. Cinderella points are actually good for both finances and romance and love and sex. So like this is also a very romantic thing where like we should expect him to various degree, like if he is a lover, like he's very much going to be committed to the concept of idea, like having a family, building a family, and all that. Like he's also probably one to be, to various degrees, be in love with the idea of being in love, where like he jumps full into the concept or idea, like if he's dating someone or things get a bit more serious, like idea of marriage would definitely pop up in his head, or like he definitely would see a future in some way in that component or aspect of his life. Because again, like there's 3 love planets in this. Jupiter is a love planet, but it's a different kind of love. It's more of like the higher kind of love, so kind of platonic, or like the love that you have for your friends and families. Like that's the kind of general love that it is. Well, with Neptune, it is true love and romance, and so is Chiron is true love and romance. Venus, it's love, but it's more like the affections, the beauty aspect, the seduction, the attraction, the physical components. So like Wiccan again, like this is also highlighting like he is very much like a very passionate individual as well. Not just like highly creative, but also like he is also like very much a lover to various degrees. Um, but this will help him out in terms of like being like very super creative and also being able to make money and so forth in the entertainment industry as well. So him being an online content creator is still entertainment online, so it's still entertainment nonetheless. So additional things is since Venus itself is interacting with it, so we're going to see more themes of like friendships, unions. So like again, like him collaborating with friends and making friends and so forth, like is a strong component of how and why he would be very successful as an online content creator. This also suggests that he has a unique charm or sense of beauty, which, if we're talking about in a surface level, like he is a naturally attractive or charming looking guy, so that is again like contribute to his own like advantages in that factor. Um, we see that taste and values or possessions, so like he may have like strong tastes or various particular values that like may resonate with a lot of people in some way. So again, like it pops up his it kind of boosts up his popularity to various degrees. Um, what manners and diplomacy, like off camera, he'd probably be a very diplomatic or well mannered individual, but on camera is probably like a different situation. Love making, so like again, like when he is deeply committed, like in love and romance, like when it comes to the act of sex, it's very much of like it is making love, not just to have it type of ordeal. And even if it is, it would result in like it's love making. Now with Jupiter into the components, where is it? There we go. It is a wisdom, education, publishing of information, generosity, benevolence, responsibility, kindness, success, growth, good fortune, God or spirituality, champion, honor. It's a loyalty, integrity, peace, leaving little to chance, justice, law, helpful leadership, angelic guidance, prayers answered, Judeo-Christian religions, uh, providence, superior talents, and whatever makes in alignment with Jupiter. So superior talents in like his own creative manners, his own ability to have like a unique charm is heavily advanced or elevated in that manner. Also, like he probably has like an education in relations to like being very charming or even like just how to entertain others. So like he probably went to like he's probably a theater kid or someone else of that nature. Like he probably has experience of like in film or like I said theater or in some type of arts form. Like that education is going to be showing up big time or whatever else he does that is non that is very much like in the arts in some way. Like that's definitely going to be popping up. Um, what this also suggests is he's also again publishing information. So like publishing information in this case content online that's very much in the entertainment industry, and again still in his own spectrum. So it also suggests that like he as an individual, like probably whether it's known or unknown, like he's very much a caring or even benevolent like individual to various degrees as well. Um, let's see, he has Neptune also in part of the pattern. So what this would symbolize is creativity, health and healing, youthfulness. So attuned intuition, serenity, inner peace, artistry, oneness with the divine, long-term financial security, longevity of all kinds, real estate, natural resources, and romance. So again, like there's a highly strong chance that like he's very much a very romantic individual. Especially in his love life, he may be quote one to see the world with like a rosy like shade of glasses or rosy tint, basically. Um, he is very much a highly creative individual where again like this creativity is going to contribute to like why he's successful like in content creation, why he's also like making money in the entertainment industry as well. um, with this as well we can also see that naturally speaking like he's also very blessed with like a natural youthful look. Again with the charming and natural beauty, like Neptune rules the natural beauty, while Venus is more like let's say like the enhancement components of beauty. So like he's very charming, he's very attractive overall, and a Venus and Neptune interacting with each other, like it strongly suggests like he's going to be a naturally attractive person, and also may have a natural knack in terms of like elevating his natural beauty in some way. So making himself more attractive, whether he is aware of it or not. So like he may be aware of like fashion for men or be able to put it into practice in some way. Um, Also with Chiron into the mix, it is of true love, soulmates, marriage, partnerships, charisma, career, reputation, esteem, distinctiveness, distinguished in appearance, noteworthiness, public recognition, super success and fame, family, children, parenthood, free enterprises, economics, the economy, how you choose to make a living, progress, the new age, and the future. So those are just some of the keywords what Chiron symbolizes. But like as we see here again, like we're hearing soulmates, we're hearing true love. This is also where he most likely chooses to make a free living, or how he chooses his free will, which is to make entertainment online and publishing that online. And again, like his romantic like, phases and all that, like it's all intertwined or interconnected. So like also again, like it's also leaning towards like when he's serious about true love, or he is very much convinced that he is in true experiencing true love, like he is very much all in it. But also again, like the reason is because like he also wants to have and build a family. So that's what it is as well. Like essentially like have it all. So what we can also see here is again with distinctive appearance. So like again with his natural looks and beauty, like it's also going to make him very distinctive in his own way, in some way. That also like people are going to recognize him. Like this is who he is. This is like how he's going to look. This is like the type of style and all that. But it makes him look good, and that's what he goes for. Naturally or unconscious, whether it's conscious or unconscious or subconscious, like it is some way going to work in his favor. So that's what this symbolizes, especially with this Magi quad, also interacting with the planets that interact with it as well. So we get a whole lot more information just based on this much alone. So I know this is much shorter in comparison to like what I normally do, but I think it's good enough for the time being. If you enjoy this, hope that you come back for another round, or essentially come back for the next stream when that occurs. Just giving you a heads up, it's most likely not going to be occurring in the first time, in the first couple days of October, due to, like, as you've probably seen, like, it's not that great of a early start for October, but I will be working on the algorithms and many other things. I'll probably be posting up or doing another stream where we go back into Magi Quads even further in detail and showing you like a whole list of random individuals. How we could do this from time to time if you are all interested in that. So till then, I hope you all enjoy the stream. If so, click that like button and all. And I hope to see all of you soon. Bye.